In this video, I am going to discuss how to read and understand your attendance report. In order to read your attendance report, you'll need two documents. The first document you will need is your attendance report. And the second document that you will need is the attendance reference sheet. You will also need a pen or a pencil and colored highlighters or colored pens or matte pencils to help you as you walk through your attendance report. You can request your attendance report in the attendance office in El Paso during the school day. When you pick up that report, make sure that you also pick up an attendance reference sheet to help you with understanding your attendance report. The reference sheet is valuable in understanding the attendance report because it details the hours of the school day into periods, and it also lists the attendance codes and the definitions for each of those codes. And you will need this as you read through your attendance report. The first step to reading your attendance report is understanding the sections on the report. Let's take a moment and review the sections. We'll start in the top left-hand corner of the attendance report. In the top left-hand corner, you will always see the time and the date that the attendance report was printed on. And so if we look at this one for Kate Smith, we see that her attendance report was printed at 2:37 p.m. on October 20th, 2018. Underneath that, we see county district. This is for internal use. Then we see school year, which is 2018, 2019. We then see campus. This is for internal use. And then student ID. Her student ID is 123, 123, and then her name is listed. In the middle section of the report, we have the start date of the attendance, which is August 27th, 2018. And this goes through October 20th, 2018, referring back to the date that it was printed on. We also see the grade that she's currently in, and she's in the 11th grade. On the right-hand side, we have program ID. This is for internal use. And then we see the page numbers. It is important to pay attention to the page numbers because if there are multiple pages, you want to make sure that you are looking at your attendance on each page. For this student, she only has one page of attendance. So we'll just be looking at this one page today. Now we'll move on to the next section. It's important that as you read your attendance report, you are reading across in rows. If we look at the student's attendance report, we can see that there are multiple rows, but there are 4 groupings of rows. At the very top of every row, you will always see the period stated and then the number that pertains to the period. These period numbers can be referred back to on your attendance reference sheet. Now let's take a look at the information within the row groupings. In the first row grouping, we see the absence dates on the left-hand side. In order to better understand your attendance report, in order to help us understand this attendance report, I'll be using 4 colors: red, blue, yellow, and green. Starting in the first row grouping, I'm going to highlight the first date that I have an absence on. And so I've highlighted 10/01/18. From then, you need to now highlight that entire row of numbers. Once you've completed the first row grouping, you will move to the second row grouping and highlight the same date, 10/01/18. Continue to the third row grouping and continue to the 4th. When you are highlighting, it's important that you only highlight the numbers. If there is not a number in that blank, that means you were either present in that class or didn't have a class at that time. So for your attendance report, we're only highlighting the numbers for the specific days that you are absent. If we continue back to the first grouping, I'm going to now use a blue highlighter, which denotes this is my second absence. Right here in the first grouping, we see that on October 10th, 2018, there is nothing listed under periods 1 through 12 for October 10th, 2018. If we continue to grouping row, the second grouping row, we see that the absence that she received on that day was during period 19 and continues through period 23. And let me just clarify, this is one class period that she was absent in on this day. If we continue to period 24, we see that she was also absent from period 24 until period 29. And those have the same coding. Those have the same numbers. So the 1032, which starts at period 24 and continues until period 29, is the same class. And then we see after that she was counted absent for period 30, which is 5058, and that continued until period 31. An additional class she was absent in was 5055, which started at period 32 and ended at period 36. Make sure that your periods, you use your reference sheet to see what time that refers to. You'll also need to know your schedule. So if Kate were to look at her report, she would then see, okay, at period 32, I have a class that ends period 36. So period 32 starts around 3:45 to 3:59, and it ends around 4:45 to 5 p.m. So she would realize, oh, okay, that's my English class. I have that on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I was counted on this particular day, which was a Wednesday. Okay. We'll continue to 1023. So 1023, if we continue, it starts on the second row grouping and just continue to highlight. And then I did the same for 11, 26, 18. So when you finish that, based on the 4 colors, she has 4 absences. If you don't want to use colors, that's perfectly fine. You can write the dates down as well. Use whatever system you need to that works for you in order to count up your attendance. So now that we've highlighted all of this, we can see that Kate has 4 absences. The next step is to understand where the absences are coming from. So which classes these occurred in and the days they occurred on, and also what was the absence for. You will, based on the codes, you're going to have to look back at the reference sheet to see what was going on and what you were coded as. So October 1st, we see that all of these are A's. If we go back to the reference sheet, we see that A's, that is an excused absence, and that student brought in a parent note within 3 days. Okay. We look at October 10th, we see that it's an X. So going back to the reference sheet, we see that X was actually a testing day. So that student was testing on that day, and that is an excused absence. On October 23rd, we see that the student received a U in a couple of classes. We go back, that is an unexcused absence. Documentation was not provided within 3 days. If that student was out for a medical reason or an appointment. And the last one we see also is 1126. It is a U, so the same. It is an unexcused absence. Those are the steps to reading and understanding your attendance report. If there is a discrepancy in your attendance after you have read your attendance report, please remember to always go to the attendance office and fill out an attendance correction form, and to also be in contact with your professors about the attendance that was submitted on the specific day that you are wanting a correction on or wanting more clarification to. If you have any other concerns outside of this, you can always stop by the attendance office to talk with the attendance secretary or speak with the assistant principal over attendance.